bringing you your favorite new MCs. It's Dormville.
Loving every day and life is so much sweeter. Living every day has become my teacher. Just a call away if you wanna reach. Stay away from leeches, watch when they speak. Living day by day and thinking about the future. The actions that you take will pave the way for you. And everything.
What's going on, everybody? It's Dormville. I'm your host, Mike Hood, with my co-host
Backstage Phantom.
and we're sitting down today with Bamskelly. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Yo, good, bro. Every day's a good day, bro. Every day you wake up type shit. For those of you who don't know, Bams is our first male singer on the show, fresh out of New York, bro. So another Dormville first. Congratulations to you.
Hey, thank you.
We appreciate you for coming onto the show, bro. To start things off, it's gonna be one of those basic generic interview questions, but for you, I think it's gonna be. I'm intrigued with the answer because most people, it's, oh, what kind of music did you listen to? And then you kind of like, okay, like I hear that in your sound, but whenever I sit down and I listen to you, I'm like, this is like, you have such a worldly and eclectic sound that it's like hard for me to be like, okay, he got that from there, and he maybe listened to these people, and like this is what influenced him. But like, what were you listening to whenever you were like, I want to do music?
What was I listening to? Large variety. Let's see, because I grew up on, like, my parents always would played all kinds of different music, like from like to the Police to Michael Jackson. We had Sting in there. We had Bob Marley, Nirvana, Whitney Houston. Like, I don't know. I think I'm a product of the music that I grew up on, so it's always been like a worldly sound. I love listening to like Latin music and everything. But like, what got me really into making music was like artists that influenced me the most was definitely listening to Tupac, Michael Jackson, and Bob Marley. Like, hearing their music and growing up with their music, it just made me think. It's like, yo, you can express how you're feeling and put your soul on the beat and just let people know what's on your mind, and people can relate to it if it's real and authentic. And that's what
Right.
inspired me. I was like, let me try to do that too. Like, I got a lot to say. So
What age were you whenever you like made that first song, or like just kind of like started writing and like putting pen to paper?
I was 20. I was
Really?
Yeah. It was like I was in the middle of college, and like I took a class. I went to an art school for painting and drawing. That was my major. And
Uh-huh.
like, we took a class that was involved with, like, it's like an audio walk. So we were supposed to narrate and put it in a, like, so people listen to it in their headphones, and we tell them where to go. And I was just thinking, I'm like, if we can put our voices onto this program, I think it was Adobe Audition. Let me just put an instrumental on there and just do some poems or something and see how it sounds. And then from there, like, it was just fun. I was like, oh, it's freedom.
So it all started just that. Most people have the story of like, oh yeah, I was 11, 12, 13, 14, like really young, but for you to like step into it at an older age and to have all the experience of life that you did at that point, like
Yeah,
I don't want to say it makes sense, but like listening now, it's like, oh, okay, like he's had like this level of a journey before he decided to like go into music.
yeah, I came into the game musical, like,
Right.
but I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and it kind of just evolved as I kept going.
And like at art school, like was like, so you started off like art was the thing that you wanted to do, and is art still like as big as it was for you back then, or is it like I do music and then sometimes I do art now?
All right, so start off like art, painting and stuff. That was something that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a painter. Uh, I want to be in galleries in the city and all that, and do all kinds of cool stuff. But like I said, like, in the middle of my years in college, like, I found out about the audio thing, and I just kept recording like little songs to the point where it started making more sense for me to express myself instead of doing it on paint on a canvas. I'm like, if I can do it audio, I feel like I can just get all my thoughts out unhinged. No one, there's no, with paint, with art, people have their own interpretation. And music is the same thing, I guess. But I feel like, when you can hear my words, there's no mistaking what I'm trying to say. So
Did
I
you
felt like it was a better way to convey my messages. So yeah, so once I graduated from college, like literally as soon as I got my bachelor's, I stopped doing painting and drawing. Like I was like, I gotta I gotta go further with this. So I still create, and plus music is an art form as well. But like,
Right.
Right.
and I still create like paintings and drawings every now and then. Like it's still always a part of me. But music is definitely what I love. Like I love this. Stick with this.
Have you ever thought of like combining the two in any sort of way? Like maybe you would get more into the animation route and like maybe it would come out in your visuals for
See,
like
it's
music videos
it's
and
funny
stuff
you
like
say that
that.
because like the next video I'm doing, I'm talking to this artist. I think he's from Nigeria. I'm just waiting for him to respond back. But I'm trying to do an animated music video, like a fully animated video for
Yeah,
this
that's dope.
next song. For this song I just released called Everything You Can Imagine Is Real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to do like an animated video. So soon that'll be fire. Like, and plus there's so many dope artists out there to connect with that would love to work. So I want to do things outside the box. I'm trying to always uh do something different than what I did before. So once I do a thing, I'm like, okay, how can I take it to a next level?
Right. Like, what's next? And
Yeah,
then I guess in that sense, like, what is next after the People's Project? Like, what's the next step for you?
the next step. I mean, all the music's gonna come naturally as long as I'm alive. I'm gonna keep making music. But I'm like as far as like the summer goes, the next couple months, like I'm just trying to do a lot of shows. I want to connect with people in person more. So I've been just staying occupied. Going to shows, performing, linking up with a lot of different artists and stuff in the city, and in my Westchester area and everything. Just trying to broaden my horizons because really music is great, but if no one can hear it, then like if no one hears it, then did it, you
Yeah,
know,
it's not doing its job.
exactly, exactly. So that's all. I'm just trying to branch out more, bigger shows. That's it. More creative work, creative videos, music. That's it. I'm just trying to get hot.
Yo, I know that you did a show last night. How did that go?
Oh, that was really cool. It was a very intimate place. It was really cool. Um, yeah, they gave us performed 3 songs. The people really was connecting with it. Like words are powerful. Man. That's what I'm realizing. Like words are really powerful. Depending on what you say, like it can really trigger something in people's mind to make them feel a certain type of way. And it was definitely a good night last night. Thankful for that. So
Do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
no, that's all. That's all.
Oh, yo, do you think like with the age of the internet and like us having like like everything accessible like just through our phones and just through just literally like you wake up in the morning and someone can send you a song, someone can send you a beat, someone can send you like just everything and anything. Do you think that like right now is just like the age of connectivity, or do you think that it's just kind of like oversaturation?
See, I feel like there's a plus and a minus with it, because it can.
Right.
The thing is with the internet, like I was just talking to someone the other day about. I'm like, we live in the independent era right now, where because of the internet, like you can just start anything up on your own, and if it gets
Bypass
traction,
gatekeepers.
then you got a business going now.
Right.
But with that being said, everyone can do it. So of course, someone was telling me that like the cream rises to the top. So of course, there's going to be a whole bunch of there's always a whole bunch of people. But if you put enough time and effort and love into your work, it'll stand out amongst all the all the noise.
Do you think like right now where do you think you are in your journey or process of being an artist?
Uh, I feel like I'm at a point now where I found my sound and I found what I want to do with my music as far as message wise. Like I think when I first started, like it was very scatterbrained. Like I would definitely talk about similar topics I do now, about love and truth and freedom, mental freedom and all that. But it was definitely clouded with a lot of other things because my mind was in a different place back in like 2013. But what was the question again?
Where do you see yourself in your journey as an artist right now?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I just see myself at a point where I understand my sound and what I can do with my message. And now I feel like the biggest thing right now is just getting it heard to getting into as many ears as possible. So I just want to reach out. That's the place I'm at right now. I'm just trying to reach out to everybody. Let them hear me.
Let's talk about your early life for a little bit. Were you like, how did you? Were you always the way you are now, like all about love and positivity and stuff like that?
Nah, nah. I was a really different person actually back like 2013 and beyond. I mean, and before that, like I definitely was a person who used to party a lot and drink alcohol, get drunk, like crazy stuff. Like I don't know. There's a couple stories. Like I just got involved in stuff that I didn't need to be getting involved into, and I think it was just uh, I think now I'm thinking about it now, it's kind of like a precursor to who I am now, but I didn't really use my thoughts in a positive way. I used it for negative things, but like I always was the type of person where I always try. I always I never like listening to people, like listening to uh what other people had to tell me in certain cases. Like I always tried to believe in myself first. Like I always went by my gut instinct, whether it took me through good or bad situations. Um, and that definitely put me in some situations. But
Do you,
now I kind of just take that mindset that I have and I just used it be to do something more positive with my time. And it's definitely come a long way since then.
do you think doing all those things, like going to parties and drinking a lot, and or like doing all of the things that you used to, do you think that was necessary for your growth into who you are now?
Oh yeah, for sure. I wouldn't be who I am now if it wasn't for that stuff. Because at the end of the day, life is like you learn through the experiences. It's just a matter of, are you gonna repeat the same thing, or are you gonna take what you learn and change it? Change whatever you want to
What
change.
What do you think the biggest lesson from that time period for you is?
Uh, Worry about yourself first. I always worried, like back then. I would believe I was stuck between believing in myself, but then peer pressure and feeling like, oh, I wanted to make sure everyone was cool with me. It doesn't matter. Like the biggest thing I learned from that is like no one's gonna love you as much as you love yourself. Like
Right.
you have to take care of yourself first before you can work outside of yourself. You got to start. It starts with yourself. So that's what I learned. You have to worry about yourself first.
Yo, you said like no one's gonna love you as much as you love yourself. Like that reminds me of a Kevin Gates line where he says, "You will never love me like my daughter loves me," and he's just like that entire verse he's talking about like a woman like trying to come up to him and being like, "Oh, like I love you, like give me things" type stuff, and
Yeah.
so and like I take it as like I love my godson like so like that's my little dude, and
Mhm.
like I take it as like I always like reinterpret it as like you'll never love me like he loves me, like you'll never look at me and be like, oh, like Unc, like what's going on, Unc, like just
Right.
kind of like
The love is
see me
different.
and
Like
smile.
people
Yeah.
know you, but they don't know you. They don't know.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I mean like that like I like no one can look at me and be like, oh yeah, yeah, you're pretty cool backstage. Like, yeah, I like what you do, but it's like I wake up in the morning, I'm the one that gets me out of the bed. Like I'm the one that like does all these things and thinks the way that I think
Ex-
to propel myself forward.
Exactly. That's it. That's it.
Yo, you talk a lot about mental freedom. Like what what exactly does that mean to you?
Thinking for yourself, not following the crowd, not following what the masses are doing. Like I see a lot of that now. Trends, trends.
Yeah.
You always hear about that. Trends. People just be following trends. Don't not getting lost in the don't get lost in the sauce. Like be your own man or woman. Stand on your own 2 feet. Trust your intuition, but also
Yeah.
open to criticism. There's a balance for that. But that's freedom to me. It's like freedom to believe in yourself and stand on your own too, but at the same time you're still open to hearing what other people have to say. So you're not keeping your mind jaded and blocking out what other people have to say because being stubborn or whatever. Gotta have a balance. You know. That's what I think mental freedom is to me.
what what do you think, like, that when did you figure that out for yourself? Like, was there like an experience, or was there like a, like, just one day you sat down and you're like, I need to be here for me.
Nah, in 2014, I'll never forget these things. Like in 2014, like all that whole summer, I took that whole summer to just be alone. Like in 2013, I had a situation with this girl I was involved with at the time, and like that was like the breaking point for me where I was like, bro, I have to change my life. Like, so I spent the summer of 2014 like by myself. I would sit out in the grass and meditate and just like I just wanted to just hearing nature and being alone in my thoughts and like doing that for the 2 months of that summer. Like it just kind of gave me a clarity. Like it's almost like a hit restart on my way of thinking in a lot of ways. Where I was just like, okay, I realize now after spending time alone what it is that I want, what I don't want, what works and what doesn't work for me, or what makes me happy and what doesn't make me happy. And then I just after that summer, like I just doubled down and focused on everything that I loved and everything I wanted to do. Because, after I spent that time alone, I realized I'm like, how other people feel about me is really none of my business. Like all I can do is just be the best me, like try and be the best version of myself. So I was like, all right, I gotta work towards this. Like I'm only getting older, so I want to work towards this so I can live a happier life. I don't want to look back and have regrets like, oh, I shouldn't have worried about that when I could have just done something else. Like, so I don't know if I just kind of rambled just now.
No, bro, like it all makes sense and it all like comes together. Like honestly, we sit down and we just want to learn about you so that we can present you to the people, and so that they sit down, they're like, damn, like this guy's really preaching, like be yourself, and then they go and they're like, let me listen to the music, and then in the music, like everything you're saying lines up with your music.
Mm,
So like that's what we bring y'all on here for. That's what, like, we want to talk to you guys because we've sat down and we've like taken part of y'all's music, or your music in particular, and it's just like, what's going through this guy's mind? Like what is who is Bamskelly type? Like
mm,
that's what it is. Like that's how we go through looking at music. It's like
mm.
I either Michael's find somebody or I'll find somebody, and then it'll be, hey, what do you think about this guy? And then it's like, I don't know, and then like that person will probably like hold on till later till we see more from. But then it's like I found you and I was like, ooh, yes. And then, bro, I was like, yes. And then I was like, yo, Mike, what do you think? And he was like, yeah, I fuck with it. And I was like, bet. And so it's like, for me to sit down and like listen to you, like whenever I drive back home, it's like I'm in a like calm, not like peace, not like in like some type of nirvana, but I'm in like in a calmer state, and I can like walk to class and I can like
That's
sit down and listen to the music and like look through the trees and see the sunshine through the leaves and stuff like that. Like that's something like I can feel, and it's like if your music is able to do that for me, I would like to share that with all these people that are like that need it. You know what I mean?
that's what's up, man. I'm thankful for you for real. That you're doing what you guys are doing is real great for real. Putting shining a light on artists. There's a lot of people out here with a lot to say. We need platforms like this. So you already know you guys got my support.
Appreciate it. And like I guess like going to one of the reasons that we kind of like picked you is like one of the line that slid out to me the most on the People Project was when you talk about losing your phone and you're like, I had to disconnect to do some reconnecting. Like what
Oh,
was that whole what was that like when you just like lost the phone and was just like, oh, like
that,
was it like fuck my phone's gone, or was it like,
right.
oh, huh,
Well, okay. So that line, right, is based on a true story. I didn't lose my phone like forever. Like I misplaced it, and I was like worried about it. Right. Okay. So boom, I lost my phone one morning, and like I had no clue where it was, and I was just freaking out. I was like, oh my god, where's my phone? What am I gonna do? Oh, missing messages or whatever. I want to do something today, and then I like the more I couldn't find it, time kept going by, and I'm just like slowly realizing I'm like I don't really even need it. Like it's not even that serious right now. I was like, let me just take this time to disconnect to just like being worried about a phone. I'm like, why am I worried about this phone? Like this why is this device controlling my emotions? So I was like,
Right.
let me just not even worry about this thing. Let me go do whatever. And then when I did that for the rest of the day and I ended up finding it the next day, I I kind of just realized I was like, yo, I just had to disconnect to do some reconnecting. And then I wrote that down. Had to disconnect before I did some reconnecting. And then I built the song around that. Because I'm like, yo, like we really don't need our phones, but we do need our phones. But you gotta have a balance, like I was saying. You gotta take
Right.
time to disconnect. Like, you know, gotta take time to disconnect and then come back. Because if you surround yourself with this 24/7, that joint can really control your life. I see it when
Yeah.
people start feeling like they're obligated to post on Instagram or they're like, not to knock anybody, but like I see sometimes people be like, "Hey, sorry guys, sorry I haven't posted in so long." I'm like, "What? You don't gotta apologize."
Right.
Yeah.
That's not something that like you need to. That's not something people need from you.
Right. Like, that's where that came from though. Had to disconnect.
Do you think that like you wanting to be more connected with fans and stuff like that, do you feel obligated to be on your phone more and like be on social media, like tweet and like put out Instagram posts and Instagram stories and
Honestly,
whatnot?
yeah. Honestly, yeah. And this at this point, honestly, yes, because I know that there's other people out there. First of all, there's like billions of people in the world, and at
Right.
least 700 million of them are on Instagram. So I'm like, I know there's other people that think and feel the same way as I do. And I'm like, while I hate being on, well, no, I don't hate it, but while I don't like being on Instagram all the time, and even on this, even now, like I still take breaks. Like I'll post or whatever, and then I'll just get off of Instagram for like 4 or 5 days just to get my life together, and then come back and share what I learned in my life. But wait, what was the question again?
Do you feel like just kind of like you wanting to grow at this point, like do you need like you feel that need
Oh,
to be on social
right,
media?
right. Yes, I do. I do. Like I said, because there's millions of other people that probably feel the same way as I do, and I want to reach them. And I mean, until I feel like I've reached enough people, but I don't think I'll ever feel that way. We're just gonna keep going because there's other people that feel the same way and wanna. And it's good to know. I know that it would be nice to know that you're not alone in how you feel in certain things. And
Right.
way. So I want to be. I've kind of taken this as like I take this now as like a responsibility to like we helping each other. I need y'all, and y'all need we need each other. I mean, that's it. So I want to help. Give those words of motivation, or maybe it can and brighten somebody's day, or make them stay focused on what they're accomplishing. That's my duty now, my mission.
What's your mindset going into a new song?
Actually, I don't even have a mindset going into a new song. Like, really,
Okay.
lately, the songs I've been making, like, everything is on the spot. Like,
Oh,
uh,
so you don't write stuff down?
no, I do write it down, but I mean, like,
Okay.
literally, like me and Third Eye, Steven, uh, we make the song like for example, everything you can imagine is real. We made that song in an hour and a half. Like, we made the beat from scratch, and then I just wrote as he was making the beat. I wrote my bars, and then we recorded it. Like, it's just like I go off the music. So I just go based off how the music makes me feel. I have a rough idea of what I'm going for, but it's not really lyric wise. It's like sound wise. Like for everything you can imagine is real. I was saying me and Third Eye were talking. We were watching Dragon Ball Z, and we were like, we want to make a song that sounds futuristic but modern at the same time. Or is that the
Yeah.
same thing? No, right? Modern and futuristic. That sounds present day but sounds futuristic at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we were going for, and, like, we were thinking of, like, space and satellites. Like, that's as far as that goes when going into a new song, like, how we want it to sound, but the words just come with after the sound, after we hear the sound.
Do you feel like if you write stuff down, it's kind of like it's too permanent? Like you can't change it. It's like it's just locked onto that page and like there's no flexibility in there.
Yeah, what I noticed with, like, writing down, it's like, if you write it down and I mean, you have it there, but then you gotta find you gotta get an instrumental or something that goes good with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll just sound I don't want it to sound like just words. Like, I want the feeling has to be expressed properly, and that's why I prefer to hear the music first, so that I can complement the beat as opposed to the beat complimenting me. Like, I wanna be I try to use my voice as another instrument on the beat.
Do you think that like because a lot of people like they use themselves as like the beat is the thing that everyone's listening to, but like whenever I feel like you instead of like it's all one thing at the end, like it's a song, the song is one thing, like you're an instrument, every instrument that Third Eye uses is like it all coincides to
It's
one thing. But do
everything's
you think,
important.
right, do you think that a lot of like musicians or artists today prefer or like decide to make sure like the beat is showcased because they have like lackluster talent or something like that?
Mm, well, we live in the internet, so it's easy. Like everyone wants to get that quick thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
music labels do the same thing. Like they prefer you to do the catchy, like the basic catchy beat. Like it's all about what can make the most money or what can get your attention the fastest. And
Right.
usually with that, you sacrifice quality and lyricism for the sake of having a beat that sounds like, oh, the beat is so fire. I mean, I listen to music all the time where I'm like, I don't even care about what they're saying on the song. I'm like, the beat is so good. Like I could play this song over and over again.
Mhm.
But I didn't want to do that with my music. I was like, I don't want people to be like, oh, I like the beat on this song. Like, no. I want you to hear what I'm saying and enjoy the music as well. Like it's all one. It all goes in as one. Like you said, yeah. So
Do you take inspiration like mainly just from like what's going on in life, or do you take inspiration from like other music? Because you said that like you listen to stuff that you're like I wouldn't make that, but like you still can like in not yeah ingest it and you still like consume it.
yeah,
But like does that influence anything in your music, or is it more like when y'all are just sitting down watching Dragon Ball, like oh yeah, like I like this?
yeah, like stuff like that is what influences me the most. But I do listen, like I listen to music 24/7. But one big thing is that I never let the music I listen to influence how I make my music. Like I
Mm,
try and make my music from a place where I don't want to sound like anybody else or try to sound like anybody else. Like I want to
right.
create my own sound, and in doing that, I don't know. I always try and stay away. Like I never want to sound like like what I listen to all the time. But instead, I take inspiration from my life, and like I watch a lot of movies and just yeah, like Dragon Ball Z, like just stuff like that makes me want to make music in my own way by doing the things I like to do. It inspires me to make music.
So going into making a project, do you shut yourself off from like the music world and focus more on like other life aspects to make a song, or
Um, nah, I mean, nah, no. When making a project, hmm, hmm. I mean, when making a project, for the past projects that I made, like usually it starts off where I just make one song with somebody, and then we're like, yo, let's just make a whole project. Like this first song sounded so special. Like let's see what else we can create. And for like a month or a 2 month time span, like nah, I'll just treat it like every other day. Like I listen to all my music, I get experiences from life, and like now what I do is instead of writing full songs or bars, if I think of like a little stanza or something that rhymes or whatever, or something I take from like for example, I was with my girl the other day and she was saying like she said I asked her I was laying my head on her and I asked her
Mhm.
if my head was heavy and she said my head is like an anchor. And I was like, "You're right, yo, our minds are the anchor." And I wrote that down like I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I wrote it down. Like it's just life, like that's what I mean, like just everyday life.
For 20, what is it? Yeah, 2019. I was about to be like, what year is it? Um, for 2019, like, do you have any like, are you starting on a project for this year, or is it just like nothing has popped up right now?
I started on a project, but I don't have any instrument. I don't have. We haven't made any music for it or anything. But I have a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm looking forward to whatever the next project is. I don't even know what I'm gonna call it or anything, but I think it's gonna be really cool, and I definitely want to have that, or I'm definitely going to have that finished at least by August or July, like last time. I want to have it be at like the end of the summer, going into the fall
Okay.
type thing. But at the same time, though, I'm gonna keep dropping music, so I might just drop like a smaller project before that, before the album or something.
So you think it'd be like an EP than the album?
Yeah, probably like an EP or something. Like I don't know. When I make music, like I said, I take it day by day. So I just see how everything flows. Like, but more music, definitely more music to come. I'm excited. I have a lot of songs I haven't released yet that I want to release soon, featuring a lot of my good friends. But yeah, no, we're just gonna keep the music going. I don't like to be the type of person to speak too far into the future and have anyone expecting anything.
Right.
But just know that the music does not stop, and we're gonna keep going.
I like that your process is so loose that like, and the way you're going about it, it's like you don't really have too much stress on yourself that you have to put up a song and you have to like meet this specific deadline
Right, right.
or else. Do you ever go through like a writer's block at all, like, or
Oh,
music
for
block?
sure. Mhm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. Definitely, and that's the time that I take to disconnect from my own music, where I'll just, I'll just go back to just doing whatever, living life, whatever, listening to music, and just that'll be like 2 weeks where I'm just not making any music, not writing, just like once if it feels like it's forced, that's when I know I gotta stop. When I'm forcing it, trying to figure out what to say next, I'm like, all right, let me just fall back for a second, because all my songs that I put out so far, everything just I don't even remember how I wrote some of these songs. Like they just kind of flowed. But like if I have to try really hard, that's how I know, okay, writer's block coming. Let me just fall back for a second and then come back for and plus, what I do for lyrical exercise is I do like little freestyles. Like I post them on Instagram sometimes too. Like I do little freestyle videos to beats that I find just to keep me sharp.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you like the going into like songs like Knuckle Up? Like, was it like how did you go about that song? That's I guess the gist of the
Mm,
question.
knuckle up. How did Third Eye played the beat first. I think he played like just a basic version of the beat where it was just like drums like dun, digga, dun, digga, dun, dun, dun. I was like, yo, this sounds like some tribal Lion King
Right.
stuff. And then once we add the other stuff like the feeling, like the sound that the beat for that song reminded me of was like waking up in the morning and like you're ready to seize the day. You're ready to take
Okay.
on the day, whatever comes, like you're ready for it. And that's why I just came with the lyrics. I'm like, buckle up, like you gotta get ready. There's a war out there, knuckle up. Tell them have no fear, toughen up. Like just like yeah, the beat just inspired me. Like it made me feel like motivated, gave me energy. So that's where that came from. There's a war out there. You gotta knuckle up. Gotta be ready for the day. Every day is a battle.
Are there any thought leaders that you followed for like furthering your, I guess expanding your mind, like in terms of how it works? Are there any like thought leaders that you follow to, I don't know how else to word this, but to like enhance your mindset?
Mm. I follow, man. I follow myself. I follow God. That's
Right.
it. I don't know. Like as far as that goes, like to help. Now life is my teacher. Like living every day has definitely become my teacher. Like now I don't really look to. My thing is we're all we're all humans on this earth experiencing life in our own ways.
Right.
And when I love hearing what other people have to say, and I love people's input on certain things. But also, it's like we were all babies at one point. We're all still learning. So why not just learn from my own source? And come up with but also like I said, taking into consideration what other people have to say. I don't really look to one person or a handful of people to teach me anything. Like I try and use life to be my teacher, and then listening to other people is usually what reassures me, like, okay, I'm not what I'm doing is not crazy. I'm like,
Okay.
yeah.
Yo, and with that, like, do you want to be someone that people seek out for advice or people like use as a model? I should say like not someone that they look at, but someone that they look at and say, that's the kind of life that I want to live. Like I want to have mental freedom. I want to like live this open, free lifestyle.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, that's the mission. I mean, the biggest thing what my father always told me, you gotta lead by example. Like eventually I'm like I couldn't find a lot of artists, or well, not really a lot of artists, but I just couldn't find a lot of people that were giving me the information I was looking for. So I was like, let me just do this myself. I know there's other people, like I said, that feel the same way as I do, and maybe they don't have the platform to do it or the voice, you know. So I want to try and be that person. I want to try and build that platform to let them know, like, yo, you can do it too. Like at the end of the day, we still here living life, going through our ups and downs. But I know if I can get through this stuff, then y'all can definitely get through it too. So I want to be. It's good. I would like to be that example.
All right, and final question that we ask all the artists that come on the show:
Hmm.
What is the hardest rap lyric that you have ever heard?
Not for myself.
Yo, it can be you, bro. Like if it's
Hold
the
on.
hardest one.
All right, let me wait. I gotta think because there's some hard lyrics out there. Okay, who said? Let me see. All right, boom. The hardest lyrics ever that I ever
Yeah.
heard. Friend like me. The song is called "Never Had a Friend Like Me" by Tupac.
Yeah,
Never.
third.
How can I be blamed? Forgive me, Lord, I'm insane. And search for fame won't hurt to change. Following the footsteps of past dealers. Wait, no, not that one, not that one. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. He said, equipped with automatic fire, we reply when my enemies trip, and me and you against the nation whispering while we conversating, because people die over information. How much more can we take? Expect us all to wait. The world ain't ready for us yet. So let's make them pay. And I was like, yo, that's real. Like when you say something real, like people are usually not ready for it. And when you give out certain information, if the truth sounds doesn't sound as good as the lie, then people are gonna go with the lie first.
Right.
You know? So it's like you gotta. What I took from those few bars was that like people die over information, but you gotta stand strong no matter what. You gotta stand strong and deliver your message because at the end of the day, people are gonna feel how they want to feel regardless. But as long as you delivering your truth, that's all that matters.
Yo, we really appreciate you for coming onto the show. We like had a good conversation. I'm glad that we got to like sit down and talk about like just being yourself and like disconnecting, like because it's everything that we talked about is stuff that people need to hear and people should hear. We wish you well in your journey. We're obviously gonna keep up with you, bro. Like making
sure.
sure that everything that you do, we can blast it and put it out to as many people as we possibly can. Because we obviously believe in you for having on our platform, as small as it may be. We want to help you and every artist that we have on. So
yeah, for sure. No, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you for reaching out. This is great.
When we get together, we unstoppable. Moments spent together, but there's lots to go. Nothing lasts forever, so let's take it slow. I don't know much, but I know about love. Seasons change, and feelings for no reason. There's a lot of things we can't explain, and it's okay. We need some healing. Found a peace of mind, I wasn't living right. Holding on to grudges, had to let them go. Heart on my sleeve, I let it show. If you got someone you love, then let them know. You can find beauty in